on this full moon in Leo. Oh boy,
Hello,
we have Miss
Tina.
Diana here, and we are going to discuss this full moon in Leo. Let's see who's here. Janet, how are you? Annie Bear, how are you? Gina's place, nice to see you. Oh man, wow, wow, and wow. We got a lot to talk about. I mean, actually, this is a pretty easy full moon. It's kind of, but well, not really. We got a T square. Let's talk about Leo. Let me go first with the Leo and the attributes. Leo on the high side is heart centered, childlike, um, creative, cares. They want to, they do like to shine. But on the low side, it's egotistical, narcissistic, and we have it right across from Aquarius, which Aquarius on the high side is brilliant and innovative and outside the box, right? And don't forget, Uranus rules Aquarius. The sun rules Leo. But on the low side of Aquarius, they're too detached. They can be standoffish. They can be too much in their head, you know. And the whole point of this new full moon, I'm sorry, in Leo, and it's at 24 degrees Leo. And I want to point that out. What was earlier? We had it already.
Yeah,
It's right next to the royal fixed star Regulus. Okay, so
right.
this is about royalty or leadership, but we could see that in the external world, right? But bring it down into your world. You are the king and queen of your world. You are the royal highness. You're the one who decides and makes the choices in every moment that's either gonna benefit you or not. And we all kind of just
Well,
vacillate
right.
on that, right, back and forth. But with this um with this full moon, okay, we got Leo over the moon over there with Regulus. So we got the moon in royalty. We got the sun with Mercury. So Mercury in Aquarius is really like you're receiving downloads, you're receiving higher consciousness information. It, provided you've been connected. I was guided to meditate all day. Really, I just meditated all day and really went inside. Um, that the thing with these two is, and this is it's brilliant if you think about it. The mind is ruled by Aquarius. The heart is ruled by by Leo, by the sun. And if you can sync them together and just kind of, well, not kind of, make your moments with the heart and the mind connected. Have the mind should work for the heart. The heart's the only thing that can wish. Your mind can say, "Oh, I want a wish," but your heart will tell you if it's really a wish you want by if it smiles, if it lights up. You know how you can feel your heart light up. That to me is, and then we have Ceres over there with the sun and Mercury. So that is the goddess of the harvest, goddess of the grain. She's, you plant your seeds with her. Now, this is a full moon, so we are releasing first, and it would be emotional or it would be, disturbing thoughts. The thing is, you want to connect that mind and that heart and have them sinking and going smooth. What do you think so far, Diana? Well, we got a
Well,
couple.
I think in the words of Cinderella,
Wiki.
a dream is a wish your heart makes. Right.
I see.
That Regulus,
It's,
is very close now because
yeah,
we
right.
the moon is now at 29 degrees of
Yeah.
Leo, so it's moving on, and it is Regulus is at 0 degrees. So be Cinderella.
Virgo, zero Virgo. Now, when we were born, it was 28, 29 Leo. So this matters to a lot of our charts here. Wherever you have Leo in in your chart, an Aquarius, that there's 4 royal fixed stars. So knowing where their location is in your chart is will benefit you. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, this is just bringing in the fact we all have Leo in our chart somewhere. The moon is in Leo. So even if your Leo is empty, you have the moon. That's going to bring in your emotions. And in doing that, it is in standing in strength because it's in those final degrees. And just as Valerie said when we opened, you're the princess, you're the ruler, you're the queen, you're the king, you're the a dream is a wish your heart makes. and go for it.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing is that we have a yod, and I've explained it a bunch of times, but in case you don't remember, that's the finger of God. The pointy part is the finger of God, and it is pointing to the moon. Well, wrong end of the chart because, of course, we're on StreamYard. It is pointing to the moon right here in Leo. And it's Pluto on one side and Neptune on the other. And that is, okay, what is Pluto about? Integrity, what no longer serves, and what does serve.
Transformation, yeah.
And right, and it's in Aquarius. And then Neptune is where? In Pisces at the later degrees, standing in his strength because he's in his rulership besides. And that is the dream. Pisces is the dream, and Uranus is how to make it happen.
And I'm glad
the finger of God is what's in your heart.
Exactly. And I'm glad you brought it up like that because the dream is everything. And the background energies are these Pisces energies. We have the North Node, we have Neptune there. Now, at the 18th or 19th, we're going to get all the sun and everybody's going to be in Pisces. But that North Node and that Neptune is spirit. North Node is the way we're heading as a collective, right? So we're headed to a higher consciousness society. You know, as soon as that node crosses over Neptune, because the nodes go backwards, and they're at 20, 28, 29, and that's where Neptune is. So they're just kind of sitting there together. Now, this is important to bring up, and if you guys really want to hear in depth, I did it on the Crone Zone last Saturday, and I did it with Sun Psychic Jean on Sunday. I didn't really want to take up all of our time today on the Pisces energy, but it is so important because it's the background energy. Wow. And that 29 degrees is the last degree of the zodiac. And then when he goes to 0 Aries, that's the first degree. And it's that Neptune, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury. And Dinah's going to talk about Venus and Mercury. We'll go back and over top that 29 and 0. Pretty much for the next 6 months on some level. And once that Neptune is just sitting there vibing at 29 degrees, which should be any minute because he goes into Aries on March 30th at 0 degrees. So this is a really dreamy, floaty energy. And Mars is still retrograde. He's the only one that still is. But we are being tasked with and asked to sync your mind with your heart and dream your biggest dream because there isn't any limit. After we start rolling forward, now I don't know, that probably might not be till fall. We have eclipse season next month, Diana.
Well, yeah, and I was just looking ahead really fast because you had just brought up March. On March 1st, Venus stations retrograde. And then on the 15th, the Ides of March, Mercury stations retrograde. So the personal planets are going to be doing their backward thing while the bigger ones are beginning to get out of their retrograde. not out of their shadow, but out of their retrogrades, which is
Mm-hmm.
what's making this such an important year. We're not going to be done with the Pisces energy
No.
for the next 19 months because the nodes are there.
Right.
And the Saturn and Neptune is just going to be hovering between 0 and 1 degrees of Aries and then back into the Pisces. So all of this year,
29.
we're going to
Yeah.
be swimming in a tsunami,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? And
That's a good way
and
to
some
put
of
it.
us are good swimmers and some of us aren't.
Yeah, because I mean that's an excellent way to put it. Swimming in a tsunami. So this is telling us, uh, and plus we have all the outer planets changing signs. We were just talking about Neptune and Saturn. Pluto already did. Jupiter and Uranus will change signs later on. This year is about realigning, but we don't know the what that means. Like that is still so. Um, there's so many variables. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's really no way to
Well,
predict. And okay, so Uranus rules Aquarius today. That full moon is squaring Uranus and Taurus. That is the earth stuff. That's our food, our land, anything that's physically made on the earth. So that's a shock. That's a shocks and surprises. We don't know how that's going to unfold. We don't, and it's like the next couple of days. It's got. Well, look, we can see the news every day. You can pretty much say that is a Uranus thing going on, but I don't know. What do you,
well, because that's where you take action in a T square. T square is, basically just called that, but it's a talent square. It's a you have to have some talent to face your challenges and come up with a solution to them. And so what you need to do is look at Uranus and realize that, okay, this can be emotional because it's a square. And with the sun, again, this can be anger. This is the volatile sun. It is fire. It is rage. And how do you make those two things come together? Using Uranus for action.
mm,
It's an intellect and it's fixed. And Uranus, in its highest self, understands that you stay put until you're ready, until the signals are aligned, until the planets are aligned, if you will. But when
and
the signal in your heart,
yes,
which is the Leo moon,
yes,
right? Because that's the heart. And then the sun is, all about getting it together up here. And it is what rules the planet or the sign of Leo. Again, that's pulling together the the ability to understand that this is a conjunction at a distance when they are opposite each other, right? Now,
yes,
outside forces may be causing these emotions. This is how you take control of yourself.
mm-hmm.
You use your Uranus, who stands firm in your beliefs and in rulership, because there we are again with that Regulus, and the Leo factor.
Mm-hmm.
And Virgo is 0 degrees of Virgo, 0, 29, 1 degree. Those three degrees pulled together there are mighty powerful.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is, well,
Moonwater.
Aquarius is two wavy lines. This is frequency. It is saying to us, think in your higher mind, think in, raise your frequency, use the heart. You follow the heart and you raise the heart frequency up. I think there's something, math, heart math, there's a lot of stuff to learn about that. But you know when you're happy, when your heart is sank, right? And it's just like, oh my goodness. And that's okay. Those things happen, right? We have to work ourselves through that.
Well, and sometimes it's withdrawing.
Absolutely. I'm totally about withdrawing. I stay over here and I'm just like floating around, but that's okay, right? That's kind of what we're guided to do right now. As with that Pisces energy that's kind of permeating all these energies in the background, and they're there to help people awaken, help crack open people, right? But that's frequency too, but that's like boundless energy. Like we have to determine, we have to fill in the details, right? We have to say, I want to feel like this. This is my this is my target. This is, and your heart will indicate to you, yeah, that's it, that's the way to go. Now if it's something that's not good for you, you'll kind of feel that hesitancy, right? But the mind, especially in the brilliance of Aquarius where the sun is right now, and I mean think about that, right? The sun is rules Leo, but he's in Aquarius and they were across from each other. And the moon is ruled by, well, it's ruled by Cancer, but that's where Leo is, and he's next to Regulus. I mean, there's just all these, and Uranus is involved. So this is like repeating the message. Go into your heart, go into your heart, go into your heart, align your frequency to something that you love and value, because that's your way forward. That's your north node. No matter, even though the north node's in Pisces right now, and that is us, so it's at those late degrees where there isn't any clarity. So we have to be the ones to fill in the details and say, this is how I want to feel. This is what I want to experience. This is how I want to, this is who I want to be with. Does that make sense, Diana? Sorry about
Yes.
that.
I just told you the date. Okay.
Oh my
So we have that 0 degrees for the star Regulus, which is where we feel our strength, right? Where the light comes in is at 2 degrees of Pisces across. Well, we have Mercury entering Pisces on Valentine's Day. So this is where your illumination begins. This is the light that's going to cast the shadow to your royalty. And when you use your shadow like a sundial, it shows you where your highest strength is, right? And so when that Mercury enters into Pisces, start watching your own personal communication about what your strengths are. Change your language if you are not complimenting yourself for all you've recovered from all you're still enduring, from all you are able to alter, fix, repair, deal with.
Heal.
The shadow work that never leaves us is being pointed to where you rise to your highest rulership. And the only person you need to worry about ruling over is yourself.
That's right. And it's, I mean, that's perfect. The way you explained it. Leo is about, the self, right? Because the sun, your essence, is ruled by the sun, whatever your sun sign is. And that is first and foremost, before any other relationship. You have to have this, you don't have to do anything, but it's in your best interest to have a really powerful relationship with yourself. And I know as I got older anyway, and I was learning all this and waking up, and I remember when my heart it literally cracked open, and I mean, it just poured energy out for months. And I didn't know that. I didn't know, I thought loving this guy or loving this job or loving these clothes was love, or loving it, it is so powerful once you can advocate for yourself, be your own self. I mean, we're our own cheerleaders, right? We're the only ones who can make decisions for us and make things happen for us. based on our decisions. And this is a huge full moon in Leo, based on the new moon in Leo in August. It was on 8/8, and I don't know if you guys remember what you wrote down for your intentions or anything. But really think back and say, did my intentions materialize? You know?
So
Um,
we have a phase in the chart going around every 9 months. Well, what's the human gestation period? 9 months. So
mhm.
we can go on many different cycles. If
Well,
you
Leo.
think back to this new moon that we just had on January 29th, that's the beginning of a new lunar phase, because that's
Yeah.
the beginning of the new lunar year. For it, I mean, you can change it to whatever you want it to be, but let's set our sights on that one, because that's the beginning. Then the first quarter will show up on October 29th of this year. Then the full moon of July 29th in 2026 is the full moon to this 9 month sequence of 4 rotations, right? And then that'll bring us to the third quarter on April 28th of 2027. So if we look at it in how much time that we have to work on these things, to pull it together, because
Right.
9 months is a gestation. And if you, okay, so let's look at that. January 29th could have been the end of a phase of 4 9 month cycles for you, or
Absolutely.
one 9 month cycle for
Hmm.
you, so there's just so many ways to use the moon in these sequences so that we have a 28-day cycle. And so, as women and men too, they just don't go through
Right.
the same changes that women do. And Sharon, I love what you said about your dad. Yes, Leos can be very soft-hearted, which
Very loving.
often, right, which often is
Yeah.
the thorn in their paw, and why they can also yell and scream and growl.
But that takes courage to be
Mhm.
genuinely love from that and want to care for and nurture others, right?
Yeah.
That's why, you see narcissists or people in their egos, they're too afraid to feel their feelings. So they have to, make this whole other uh,
Pure
how would you put it, like another face to them. Now I wanted to say something here about Leah. And okay, see, Leah, this is using your Leo, right? You want to go feed the homeless in your area. That is working your Leo. That's using your brilliance of your mind, right? And because that's what your heart wants, and you're going to figure it out. You said,
Well,
I
her
got to get
Jupiter,
my ass in gear and
her
find a way.
Jupiter is in Leo.
Right.
So
So
giving is what makes her happy, because what does Jupiter like to do? Let's give it all away.
give, give,
Right?
give. Yeah. And that,
And
I mean,
happy birthday, Pierre. Her birthday's a Valentine's Day, baby.
yes, she is. Hi, Perrette. Hi, Priscilla. Let's say hi to everybody. Hi, Gina's Place. Hi, Leah. I can get food from the food bank. Oh, Leah. See, that's using your brilliance. That's using your um.
It's what's already there that
Yeah.
needs to be distributed.
Yeah, really, 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 really good. Okay, let's see. I'm getting up to the top. We have Annie Bear. How are you, Annie Bear? Janet, how are you? Oil painters here. Heavenly blessed honey.
You're
Uh,
welcome, Annie.
Rossi, hi. Wiki, hi. Good to see you,
Wiki's here.
Wiki.
Yeah. I mean, hello, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wiki in a while. Hi, Karen Robinson.
Wiki
Let's see.
took some beautiful pictures like she always does.
I know she is a photographer, boy.
Uh-huh.
Laura Addie Scott. Nice to see you, Sharon Foster. Nice to see you. I'm so happy everybody's here. I could feel the energy. Right before we started, before even I got with Diana. I was feeling that, like having to keep putting my hand on my heart and take a couple deep breaths. And I actually wanted to start the show like that. So if y'all want to do that, put your hand on your heart, take a couple deep breaths, because our like Aquarius rules our nervous system. Ooh, that feels good. Beautiful.
And there's a yogi trick, which isn't easy, but with the first breath, place your tongue behind your teeth, but at the roof of your mouth.
Yeah.
Then with the second breath, curl your tongue backward and press it against the center of the roof of your mouth. And then with the third breath, roll it back as far as you can. Try to get that soft moon that's up there, to press your tongue against that, and keep it there as you exhale with your mouth open each time. That really is a not just calming, but oming and touching your third eye.
Yeah, I love doing that too.
From the inside.
Yeah, because we're being triggered, right? Our nervous systems are under attack, and they have been for 10 years, but it's like ramping up now, right? So it's easy to get thrown around and taken off your center. So if you do, I just do the breath work Dinah explained, or put your hand on your heart, take a few deep breaths. I was guided to meditate all day, and I'm telling you, I pulled every card deck I had. They had me pull every card. You're not even gonna believe this, Diana. On the Diana Cooper dragon deck, I got the silver lunar dragon, full moon, and I got the golden solar dragon. So that's like a full moon right there. And I was just like, that is so cool. When you're talking to yourself, when you're pulling cards. And the lunar dragon says it bathes you in divine feminine light, right? And the golden solar dragon says helps you stand in your masculine power with wisdom. And that's another part of this. We are balanced in our divine masculine and our divine feminine. And we are being aligned. And we've come a long way. We've come a long way since 2012. And as Dinah was saying about the new moon in Aquarius, the year of the snake was on that day also. That was the start of this year for us. For us, that was the start of this year, because even though it was the 29th of January, that was the opening, because we came in with our brilliance. I want to put it like that, like spirit. That's spirit directed. That's not me saying that. That's spirit directed. We're coming in with your brilliance. The full moon before that was the full moon in Cancer, where we were aligning to our feelings, and then we come to this full moon in Leo, where we're aligning to our heart. So we are creating that solid foundation with everything syncing up, because everything, you can line up all your chakras to your heart chakra and make sure that they're in alignment, and your mind is working for your heart, not the ego. It happens all of us. It happens really quick. We've been brainwashed for our lifetimes, so it's kind of, you got to keep checking yourself, right? You got to keep realigning yourself. But I love that spirit, just the way spirit lines it up. And then the next new moon is going to be Pisces, where we're going to have all that stuff in Pisces, which we already have. And that Pisces energy is, like Diana said, that's going to be the undercurrent, let's say it like that, of our energy for the rest of the year, as these planets are all changing signs and things like that. Now, later in 2026, we start to get stability, but until then, we're the ones filling in the details on how we want to feel, what our heart, what we want to put our energy into, what our heart loves and values, by how we feel, and then using our gifts and abilities to make that happen. And Diana reads charts. I read charts. We can read charts together if y'all want to see the details in your chart and see what your chart is saying, where this energy is working for you. We would love to do that. Um,
Yes, Bora Bora, they can. Leos can be players. They're actors.
oh, yeah,
Some of the
yeah.
finest actors and actresses are Leos. Some of the
And
best musicians are Pisces or Leos.
yeah, and that's kind of with age comes maturity. But a lot of Leos are just born heart centered, where a lot they will never even know where to locate their heart, and that's just they enjoy the spotlight and being that other face. They
It's
will never.
because it's easy for them to get in touch with all the different personalities of the universe and put themselves in that position and
Mm-hmm.
feel what it is and have empathy for another's ups and downs, upheavals, imitation, um, being able to read a room.
Yeah,
They're very good at that.
yeah. And a lot of leaders, really world leaders, have a prominent Leo. Um, look at Trump. What does he have in Leo? I was just looking at his chart. I can't remember. He has something,
It's over there. Yeah,
but
It's a prominent Leo.
he's getting hit with this T square though. He is not that T square we were just talking about. So that's going to come up in his world somehow or another. Um, as for us, because this is why we're all here, right? Is to raise the vibration as we're ascending or evolving or however you want to say it. And we do that by focusing on our frequency as often as possible. When you feel yourself drop, realign yourself, you keep that frequency high because what's going on in our country is disturbing, right? But we know this, there's more of us. Love is the answer, right? Unconditional love. Spirit's here. What do you think about all that, Diana?
Well, right now, I think the funniest thing I've seen is that Denmark has offered to buy California and give them free
I
healthcare.
love that. I saw that too. And it's like, how does I just can't even, like, I don't even want to use Google anymore because they changed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you guys?
Yeah, Annie's got this good question here. Phoenix connected with this. Well, the
Oh,
Phoenix
yes,
is out of the
absolutely.
ashes, right? And
Absolutely.
and oh gosh, how come I can't pull it up? I guess Regulus is no. One of the fixed stars represents the Phoenix. Is that
Well,
Regulus? I think
and
it is Regulus.
it is Regulus, and the sun does represent Phoenix too, right? We this is I mean, and this is the beauty of being in a human form. What I mean, we might start out very self-centered and narcissistic, but you got the ability to change. You got the ability to be the phoenix, burn off that stuff and reinvent yourself. And that's exactly what we're doing now. We are recreating ourselves in this new energy because we're entering the new earth. And it isn't going to be in overnight, but we're working it. And to me, I see more and more people waking up. I see more and more people connecting to their hearts and their souls. And I wanted to bring in, this is citrine. I'm sorry, this is not citrine. This is citrine. This is pyrite, and this is citrine, and these are all like Leo stones that you can use. Labradorite would be for Aquarius. If you want to do a little bit of a ceremony tonight, blow the cinnamon in your door, write out
Mhm.
your uh, release list, and burn that safely. Hi, Juno. Hi, Rossi. Did I say hi, Rossi? I saw someone else come in. Hi, Karen Doyle. Oh, it's so good to see everybody. Hi, Esther G. And, do something. This is a powerful.
Vicky, I was looking for your chart and I don't have it in my phone. Sorry, but I think you're right. I think your moon is in Leo.
Those I could pull. Well, I'd have to go down and pull it, but I could. Pyrite. Thank you, Rossi. This is what we got here. Big chunks of pyrite. Pyrite, really. This is
You,
good for manifesting. You use pyrite and citrine together, you can manifest a lot of things, like, physically, and your heart's got to be involved in it. Make a little grid. Have a whole grid with all the citrine and yellow adventurine and things like that in there. But
I brought my big crystals down here.
did
Oh,
you? I love,
yeah.
yeah.
I got
I love
smoky quartz, clear quartz.
Oh,
I've
nice.
got the throne of Buddha down here, which is in a milky quartz. And of course, some rose quartz, because, And I've got an obsidian Athene.
Oh, nice. Yes, I love obsidian. I would have never made it without my obsidian. There's a big one here. That thing healed me. Well, it was one of the things that helped to heal me. But yeah, doing these ceremonies really is beneficial. And because we already had the feelings, the mind, and now we have the heart in, this is our foundation. So you want to do something to honor that, right? Honor that rest of the year using those three attributes, your brain, your heart, and your feelings, because that's how we're going to create and manifest whatever that is. Um, wow. What else we got going on? So, and Mercury's there with the sun, right? Diana said he's gonna change signs into Pisces on
March 4th.
Valentine's Day, right? March or February?
Uh, yeah, he goes stations retrograde on March 15th. He goes in on the 15th. I was just
Okay.
looking at it. Hold on. March
Okay.
14th. February 14th.
Thank you. We keep doing that. We're like, I don't know what day it
I
is.
need to put something in my tea other than honey.
So, but that Mercury, right? That Mercury is helping that sun with that brilliance. So it's coming in with higher consciousness, cosmic downloads. That Aquarius is cosmic intelligence because it is out there with you know Uranus is the only planet that turns spins on his side. He's very unique. That's why he's very unpredictable. Unspoken heart stillness. I really like that name. Midnight
Yeah.
Court, great for dispelling evil. It sure is. I have a couple of those too. It is important to have these things. Um, Venus. Now, this is the cool thing. Venus is in Pisces. She went through Aquarius pretty quick, but she's going to retrograde. I'm not sure. I'd have it written down somewhere. But her and Mercury are going to go over that 29-degree Pisces, 0-degree Aries, and that's a major point. That's I can't stress it enough how important that is because that is a rebirth. That is the rebirth, and with that many planets going over top of it, back and forth, it's just telling you that you're stuck in the birth canal there for a while.
Well,
I mean, really, you are.
as so many of us were.
Yeah, I understand. I
My
know.
mom never let me forget it.
Mm. My mom never said anything. I had to get turned around, and so I have like what are those things called that they used to turn
The
you around?
forceps.
Yeah, because I was coming out butt first, but breech or
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
They didn't. They didn't use any forceps on me, but I
Mm.
sure did give her a hard time. But she gave her mother a hard time also. She had um, the cord was wrapped around my mother's neck, so she almost died.
Mhm. And a lot of women did. I mean, a lot of women and babies die like that. It was very, and you know, this is where they want to take us back to. I don't get it. I mean, I don't even get into it. It's brutal. Birth is brutal. Leah's asking,
I do
yeah,
pokey pokey, holy
how
pokey. But I
cool.
turn myself around. Yeah, upside down, butt first.
So
Face,
is I. Sat down and butt hurt.
face in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my face in all the wrong places.
I
Uh,
was trying to get back in, trying to go back. I was just let me get out of here. Hi, Sal Rods. Oh my God.
Sally.
So I don't know, Leah. You would have to look at your chart, but as for Friday morning, it looks like it's going to be um, a pretty good. I mean, it doesn't look bad from here. And we're going up now. This energy is the the precursor to the eclipse energy coming in next month. So this full moon and this new moon, right, give that a lot of the flavor of what that's going to be like. So we haven't seen um, the Uranus, who's in the T square in between the sun and the moon. I haven't seen anything shocking or surprising except for the normal craziness out there. So I guess it would depend on what that is, you know. But things are going to be popping off throughout the world all year because we have these changes, these outer planets changing, and this, you know, Uranus in this respect can bring in volcanic activity, earthquakes. If you remember the planes crashing, that was a huge Uranus moment,
Mm-hmm.
and that was under that new moon. Yeah, was right. That was under that new moon in Aquarius. So
Leah,
there.
well, I was just going to tell her I don't have her chart in my phone either. However, Neptune and the North Node are conjunct at 27 and 28 degrees
Yeah, they're gonna
in,
stay
in Pisces,
there.
and the
Hmm.
Moon is conjunct the Virgo South Node.
Hmm.
So, I would say keep your sights set on what you want a job to be,
Yep.
and let go of expectations, and don't get upset if it doesn't measure up to what you want it to be. It's not your fault, and it's probably somebody else's corporate crap that is getting in the way of just being hmm, a humanitarian and giving a job to somebody who needs one, right?
Could
Or
you
expecting
have
you to work for peanut shells instead of full peanuts.
and anything like that going on here from here on out is no
Nico.
go. It's a no go because your heart has now is standing his ground. Your heart is like, I will not take anything less than being respected, honored. You know, if we're gonna, and I know a lot of us have to work, and I've had to, you know, work for some shitty restaurants in my life. But right now, it's not going to be a good trade off for you to take something if you know it's going to be abusive towards you in any way, shape, or form.
My
And
favorite restaurant was working the bar shift on a Friday night, man.
when I was in the clubs, yeah, I used to like it. But once I got out of club, you couldn't pay me to work in a club right now. Oh my
Oh
God,
no.
no
But
way.
yeah, that 2 o'clock in the morning, everybody's
Yeah,
coming in for
and they're
breakfast,
mad at you. No.
sober up. Yeah, they leave you money, honey. Especially, well, I did that when that gig. I lived in Colorado, and those cowboys had it to spare because that's when they were building the Eisenhower Tunnel and putting together Aspen and finishing up the Peak Tens. Breckenridge was still a molehill, and I mean,
Well, there wasn't.
I worked there during the heyday of building up the ski resorts.
Hi, Wiki. Thank you.
Yeah, have fun.
I mean, that back then, before computers and cameras, you know, bartenders were bought drinks every night, and you drank with everybody. As soon as they implemented computers and stuff like that, and cameras
Oh,
especially, yeah,
well,
with that shit ended real quick.
you go to the neighborhood bar. There is no measured shot.
uh,
It's a free pour.
Not anymore. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I know pretty much every bar has cameras in them now because they're watching to see how you pour. You know, and then you got, you know, you talk about pressure. You're being slammed, and you gotta pour, but like a exact amount. You know. But anyway.
Yes, Annie. Kamala is a Libra.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. Heavenly blessing. Yes, things are starting to show up for us. Look, Gino had a really cool thing happen to her. She's got her ball rolling, you know, and now she put the work in, right? And she had, of course, we all have assistants. People are helping us out, but you put your intention out there to what it is that you want to create and you want to experience. That is going to come right in for you. I mean, spirits
Right.
like opening doors as soon as we and decide. And that's kind of what we were saying. We have to decide the details. The details are important. Dinah, right? I mean, that's the asteroids, and those are the goddesses. You know, this is all.
Yes, Leah. You
You know,
know,
yes. Oh my God, yeah. I can't drink it all.
no.
Yeah, a long time ago, you got wasted. You did, that's how you bartended. I couldn't when I couldn't drink anymore, and I had to like
One,
go.
two,
Oh my
three,
God, how am
four,
I gonna
five,
do this?
six, seven.
I don't even know how to bartend without drinking. Oh my God!
Or
But
without counting every job, like
oh, you
you
count
count.
all the
That's how
time.
you know how if you've poured a measured shot or a
I
shot and a
still
half.
count. I do that with my honey and stuff. I
I
count
do that with
everything.
everything. But I went from being a bartender to being a school teacher, and then I had to count every damn minute, and then I had to be, and then yoga. You're counting everything.
Yeah, in astrology, you're counting everything. I mean,
you know,
you really need numbers. That's for sure.
numbers are my life.
Numbers are, isn't that the truth? Okay, so I was getting what I write down here. Is it like a quantum leap? I mean, we really are jumping timelines. If you're focused in on
It
your
is.
heart, and you got you, you know where it is that you're pointing your north star to, everything is going to come up. Everything's coming up.
Right.
And if it doesn't, if for some reason it doesn't pan out, that's because spirit got something better for you. You know, you got to look at it like that. You can't take it as, um, oh, this is the end of the world, because it's not. Like, there's always something. It's this or something better. That's what I'm trying to say. Always say that in your intentions. This or something better was what's Annie Bear talking about here. I like to swoosh. So thank you to Joe Biden. Well, yeah, but I'd love. I mean, that
Lots of
was
money
cool,
too. A little bit of money. Yeah, much more affordable.
but now it's not. I heard he took that
Well,
away.
I think that's been stopped. I don't know. I
I
haven't been
know.
listening to
I'm
the
not
news very
watching.
closely, and today especially because today was,
Mm-hmm.
take a nap day.
Taking that. I know. I meditated all day. I used booze to cook with. Oh my goodness. I, I
I
use
know.
like
This is
time.
another thing that in this community we've gone the gambit, right? We've had our fling with gin as the uh, during the days of prohibition would have said, let's fling with gin, and we've had that, and I'm a baby boomer, right? So the 60s were like opening my eyes. And I'm sure you've heard me say this before. I wanted to be a cloistered nun till I realized after smoking my first joint that they really meant none of this and none of that, you know?
They were serious, though.
Right? I
Oh
was
my God.
raised by people who were lifetime tavern owners. So alcohol was just always there.
It
And
was everywhere. That's
yeah,
all I
you know,
knew.
my mother was born in 1927, and she'd go down to the bar with her mom, and it's her uncle's bar, my grandmother's brother's bar, and there was a stool that was left just for my mother, and she had a little snit, and they also would trickle a little whiskey. And you know, she's like 4 years old, and they're doing this stuff already. It's
I
not
was
like you're living in the old country where you can't
no,
trust the water.
I was in bars at a very young age. I was always in, that's just where I was, and you knew everybody and everybody knew you or your dad or whatever. This is crazy. Yes, time to dream. Dreamy Pisces. Get that dream going. Big dream too. Don't restrict yourself. Like, seriously, if you want to go live in Fiji, figure it out. Say you don't even have to figure it out. Just state it, write it down, do a little ceremony, and the universe asks them to show you the next best step. I mean,
Stand
whatever it is. Seriously.
firm. You know, those fixed stars are in your chart somewhere.
Me too, Janet. Me
And you
too.
know where they are. They're located at Regulus is 0 degrees of Virgo, and not Aldebaran. What is it?
Well, I'm sorry. What were you saying? I'm sorry. Aldebaran,
No, the fixed stars.
Regulus, and hold on, I'll tell you the other ones. Give me 2 seconds. Aldebaran, Regulus, and Taurus, and Formahalt. And
There you go.
Formahalt,
Formahat is the one at 2 degrees of Pisces. Aldebaran and Antares are 9 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius. So those are going to hit your chart somehow. And whenever
absolutely.
a transiting
Yeah.
planet goes over that, it's going to light it up in you somehow. Anything that you have at that 9 degree or 2 degree or 0 degree is going to light up in some way, shape, or form. A square, a rectangle, a sextile, a trine, an opposition. You know, it'll light up anything you have. Just like looking at the chart now with all of these Pisces things, right at 28, 27, 29, 0. All of those degrees are going to light up in your chart because they're very active degrees right now. And that Pisces stuff is going to remain that way. So whatever those degrees, you take those degrees in Pisces, and wherever they are in your chart, lights it up with either a sextile or a trine or a square or a half square, a square and a half, an opposition, a yod, because then you're in the halfway mark with the yod. So I'm just saying, if you just kind of keep track of numbers and know what your numbers are, you can understand how the aspects come into play.
And those and like we're saying, that Pisces is really gonna be just vibing on us. Right now we're getting that Aquarius energy. Now Pluto's gonna stay there now, and he's gonna take 20 years to get through Aquarius. But everybody else is upgrading. You gotta look at the sun. Like every time that sun is in a new sign, it's upgrading. It's upgrading. It's getting it's actually from the central sun. This is how I see it. The central sun gives you new paths to follow, and then the sun shares it with everybody else. And Mercury and the sun had a cazimi the other day, so that sun updated Mercury, and I mean, there's no telling what Aquarius the brilliance coming in, because that again is ruled by Uranus, and this is outside the box stuff. I feel like and for it to, but Diana, for it to start out the year with the Aquarius, right, new moon, and I mean that's normal, right? But to have all this Aquarius influence right before, with that Pisces influence, is just going to keep playing out all year. It's like that was the first that how do I want to put this? That is the energy that's going to help us choose the choices we go through, right? Because we're gonna have different choices. This isn't the same old world. This is a whole different world. This is all different. We have different things available to us that we don't even really understand yet, and that's the cool part, because that's gonna unfold, right? Like Diana was saying, these moons, they could take 9 months, they take a while, to see these energies fully play out. Venus star points coming up, we got all kinds of stuff really that's going to add on to the brilliance of the Aquarius that started the year, and it's just going to keep coming in and coming in and coming in, and that's why we come every moon. This is why we come every moon, because there is new information to discuss, believe it or not, even though we keep saying the same thing. Go inside, take a pause, take a breath. What else do we say, Diana? Oh my gosh.
Right. The Venus star point is in March. They'll have their
during
right.
During the eclipses. That's so
crazy. It's in April then, because the eclipse is in April.
The eclipses are March. I know there's so much going on. I just did the charts today.
I know, and I haven't studied far enough ahead. I need to keep my mouth shut.
No, me either. But I do know that Mercury and Venus are going to retrograde back into Pisces, but she starts her Venus star point. I don't know if it's during her retrograde in March.
Okay. It's like 2 days after she. I thought it was 2 days after she goes retrograde, but don't quote me right now. I did all of that studying last week, and a lot of water's gone under the bridge since then.
Oh, I know. It's like stuff changes so quick, and it wasn't like this before. I mean, this wasn't before 2020. Astrology wasn't like this.
Right, Rossi. It's very interesting to try to communicate with the planets, and if we think of them as the gods and goddesses that they're supposed to be, right? Mm-hmm. They reflect human behavior in some way, shape, or form of another, right? Yeah. And so if we keep that one-on-one human element in the reflection of the element that they're supposed to be, and modality as well as element that they are reflecting back to us, that's how we can communicate with them. And it doesn't even matter what sign they're in, if you're just communicating with them as you would with one of your guides. Mm-hmm. So Saturn should be a guide for all of us anyway, because he's the Hierophant.
Absolutely.
He's the father figure, the school principal, the Pope. And how many of us here play with tarot? So we understand that perspective from the Hierophant. And we've had some pretty crappy popes, and some pretty crappy school teachers and dads who are, stern beyond necessity. And so it can go either way. But how do you build a relationship with a guide? It's not a guide if it's abusing you, right?
Yeah, no, I was guided to go to each planet and hang out with them and just have conversation, and it just unfolded. And today when I was doing my now that was a few years ago, but today when I was doing my meditation, I went into the sun and I was going to Uranus, and then I went to the central sun, and I just kind of hang out, and I just ask questions and listen if I get an answer, and that's with anything. You're going to talk to Archangel Michael. You're doing the same thing, or Merlin. Merlin kept coming in last couple days too. So, and
Oh,
I so when I know Merlin's coming in, I know that there's magic involved. I know that it's something I don't know about. Like it's new territory, and I guess that's the words I'm trying to find for us. This is all new territory. We are the ones who make it up. We are so much more powerful than we've ever been told and ever understood. And to remember this now at this later age is kind of like, are you sure I'm powerful? Are you sure? I have this kind of abilities. I mean, look, all of you are psychic, intuitive. Some of you are mediums. We can all learn that stuff. You could learn astrology if you want to. You can learn whatever it is you want to learn. Um, we were just cut off at a very young age and didn't believe that we were anything, other than stuck here. At least that's how I looked at it. But now that we know better, and we know that we're here to help each other, walk each other home, and help raise the vibration, whatever we imagine and dream, we can make happen, or we can at least communicate with that part of us to get us aligned to where it is we want, our heart wants to go. Okay, so that Venus retrograde is March 1st to April 12th. And it says from the 1st to the 27th, Venus will be in Aries. And then on the March 28th to April 13th, it'll be in Pisces. So there's that. And I know I have the Mercury. I just didn't have the Venus written down. I don't know why. Where's Mercury? Oh my God, I'm about to give up. I am. I don't remember. I
well,
never.
Mercury's retrograde isn't going to be such a devastation. It's like quick 4 weeks done.
That's March. Yeah, that's March 14th. Yeah, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think it's going to be devastating for Venus or anybody? I think Venus needs this.
Well, Venus and Mercury are conjunct on March 11th.
I know it.
But
Venus,
we're getting too far ahead, I think.
right? And Venus does a Kazemi with the sun. So I mean, we'll talk about all this stuff as the moon come up.
And
But
we'll
yeah,
go over the Venus star point again and how that forms and what it can mean in your chart.
right. It's important.
It's a lot like the parts fortune, and it's the shape that the star that the pattern Venus makes. It's a 5-pointed star that she makes over and over again. But as she gets back to that position, it's like a degree or two forward from where it was the last time it was there, and it's an every 7-year thing. So,
and here's what it looks like.
It's a child playing with a spirograph that's fixated. It's the magnificent lotus.
And here's a Venus Kazemi. I mean, to me, I just love it.
It's gorgeous. It's really
this is all we do is look at this stuff up. Right. My head's always in the damn astrology somewhere. But we were talking
about yeah.
Say that again.
Danny was talking about the imposter syndrome earlier today. We all fall into that trap.
This is going to help us, this Leo moon, though, for the worthiness, right? Because this is the courage to be who we are. This is really from that Cancer full moon, that Aquarius new moon. This has given us the foundation, the courage to be who we are. Now, I'm not saying in every moment, oh, hey, here I am. I got my shit together. But it is helping us. It is propping us up to remember. Just drop in your heart.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And
Sorry.
I came upon a child of God. He was walking along the road, and I asked him, "Tell me, where are you going?" Oh my
Right.
God,
Right,
Diana,
Sharon?
grab your voice. Where'd you put it? And this
Mm-hmm.
he told me.
I can't
I'm
see. Good
going
to
down to
see
NASCAR's farm, gonna join in
you.
a rock and roll band. Gonna get back to the land and set my soul
It
free.
is. It is all
We
new
are
territory.
stardust, we are golden,
Mm.
we are billion-year-old carbon, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. Ooh, trine, sextile, easy going moments.
Oh, Rossi, yeah,
That's
that
the
is.
worst volume, worst voice I've had in ages. I
We,
apologize for being so off key. I had an
we,
adjustment today at the chiropractor, so I
I
couldn't find
got,
my boots.
and this is in the second house in my chart for Leo. I got the second house resources. So I got resources and I got the ninth house exploration. So again, exploration, dreaming. You're gonna feel into this, feel into that. Whatever it is that you decide on, to me, is what will bring in these resources for you. You know that this, because once we're doing or pursuing what we love and value, it just everything else falls into place.
Yeah.
You know, it really does. And that is that is,
Yeah.
but we're all new at it, right? So we're kind of like, we're putting dipping our toes and jumping back, dipping our toes and jumping back, because we are not used to having power, even though we've been together now for almost 5 years, 4 or 5 years, right? We met our tribe. I know, thank God.
Right.
But we are still trying. We are still, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to say, "Oh, I'm a higher."
We got to stop beating ourselves up. That's for sure.
That's the truth.
And
So
we're only doing that because somebody else did it before us.
right,
Thanks,
and
Sally.
imposter syndrome. So that's saying whatever your dream is. I every time I do a live, I'm like, I feel like an imposter. I have to fight through that every time I come up here. I mean, it just is part of it, but you just keep doing it until you're just like, you know what? I'm not listening to that voice. I'm just not going to listen to that voice. Hi, Millie.
I got
How
the
are you?
black dragon that
Ah,
cocoons yourself,
yes.
so that
Saturn.
right, so that you can step into your divine potential,
Yes.
your greatest power.
Oh, I love that. Black is where we plant our seeds, right? In the new moons. But we can plant seeds tonight, and this is a powerful moon to do that in.
Well, I bought dirt today, but
Yeah, you're not
because
planting
I was
nothing.
going to start in the house, but it's too early. It's too soon
Yeah,
to do that because they'll be growing in the kitchen.
yeah, it's way too early. You're jumping ahead. See, I don't know where she gets her energy. I can't even leave the house. But was hoping it would get easier as you get. Well, it does. I think it does. And it'll get easier as we go along.
It's
And we have each other.
every day's the new normal.
Right.
So we always have to have these adjustments. You didn't mind that when you were younger. It's harder as we get older because we just want to, let me take a break, give me a break, give me a break. If we just lessen our burden, I was watching Allie the other day. She was on with, I think she was on with Deb Zacco, and she had pulled a couple of different 10 of Wands out of different decks. And you know, no two decks are actually the same anymore. There's a lot of very fine artistic decks out there. Sometimes you see, especially in the Rider Waite, the burden is on his back or is in front of him, and he can't see where he's going. And he, as he takes his footsteps forward, he's kicking those staves in front of him. And then there's people who have it on their back, which seems to make the burden a little bit easier, but it's heavy, and that slows you down one way or the other. And just as easily, you can trip yourself up by kicking one of those long staves coming down. And sometimes you see them juggling and sometimes carrying them in their arms this way. It's a burden is a burden. And sometimes you just need to make 2 trips.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that the truth? I'm one of
Yeah,
those
Lori.
people who will take 10 grocery bags up 2 flights of stairs at one time, because I don't want to do 2 trips. But
Yes, and
that's
it is harder
it.
when the body complains.
Right. And you need to have patience. I need to have patience. Hi, Paula.
I was given a gift the
Hello.
other day by a neighbor. I was so surprised. I had done, I'm doing a series with Allie on trees. And the first tree of the year that we did was the willow, which is the tree for Aquarius in the old Celtic Ogham. And so in that, um, I don't remember if I mentioned it to my neighbor or not. And I'm trying to help her understand astrology. And out of the clear blue, she shows up here yesterday with a willow tree for me as a gift.
Oh.
And it's gorgeous, and it's little, but it is ground worthy, and it's designed to be put outside. Well, I've got a place for it, right? It's filled with catkins, and they're already starting to show their stamens. And there's a tag that comes with it because the goddess Hecate and the goddess Brigid, and there's a couple of other goddesses attached to the willow tree. And so you take one of the supple branches and tie it in a very loose knot and make a wish while you're doing that. And you leave it like that until the wish comes true. Well, I made my wish, and of course I did that. And today there was a big breakthrough. I'm not going to say what it is or what the wish is, but the breakthrough was enough for me to understand that there is another side to this. There will be an end to this road that I've been having to walk. So
Always is. And
it's
nobody,
ritual time. What can I say?
yeah. It
She
doesn't.
showed up with it close enough to the full moon to be part of the full moon ritual.
I think that's beautiful. But there is always an end to our journey. We have so many journeys within journeys, cycles within cycles.
Mm-hmm.
I've just watched so many miracles happen in 20 years, people, and I know that that's what's happening with you. I
Is
don't know.
Liz here?
Yeah, and I don't know how they gave her a pacemaker if she has tachycardia and AFib. That's crazy.
Well,
I
she had to have a new one put in.
She said she's still having the tachycardia and AFib. That's what I don't understand. I'm trying to figure out, but I'm not a doctor.
Well, but I play one on TV. No.
I, I don't know.
Thank you,
But
Annie.
yeah, it is hard when the body complains, Sal. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
There was another question. Oh,
Because
what's
on the inside, we're all 18 and I can do what I want.
right? Pele Athena is a goddess, is warrior goddess, and she doesn't fight though. She uses strategy and wisdom.
Well, Jupiter is her father, and she was born out of Jupiter's third eye.
So that
Because
was
in one of his crazy moments,
Paula.
he ate her mother because her mother was half a Selkie.
I don't even know how.
She was
Yeah,
a goddess, a sprite of the water, a mermaid. And he didn't want anybody to know. So he ate the mother and contained the seed himself, and the seed came out of his third eye. And so Pele Athena, as wise and benefic as Jupiter is, Pele is wiser.
and I'm so glad we don't have to live under the gods and goddesses like they did back then. Oh my God, they are nuts. I like Eris. Eris is my girl. That's who. She was like told them all that they were, because they were all narcissistic, right? I mean, that was the, and if you look at the time period when those gods and goddesses were, that's who it was. Uh, that's where the planets were. Everybody was at that more immature. The humanity hadn't grown, or not many parts of it. Some of it did, but anyway. Any other? I had another card, and I don't know which one. I got so many I pulled. Oh, here it is. These two dragon cards and this. I thought it was crazy because I'm pulling cards for the full moon, and it says jump, shift your life, tune into crystals. But to me, it was like a timeline jump. See all
Well,
those timelines? Yeah.
we're going through them. There's no doubt about it. We're in solar maximum, and we're in Pluto and Uranus, and we're in Uranus in getting ready to go into Gemini. And so we're in a place where big wowza year is coming at us, and 26 too, because it's not going to all be done when 2025 ends.
It'll
So
be a little bit nicer, but maybe, hopefully.
if we all live that long, right?
Yeah.
But so
Damn. Oh my God.
I forgot what I was going to say. Squirrel.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. But it's true, right? It's like, ah. Okay, so then I got this effort, conquering your demons. And look at that dragon. He's like, yeah, come on.
And that's it. It just, my darling Yoda said, do, there is no try, do or do not do. There is no try.
That's right.
But that's just because that's the way Yoda talks. Trying is doing. You just don't give up. That's what he was saying.
Right.
You keep working at it till you accomplish what it is you want. You don't abandon it, and you follow the rules. You do your Saturn. When you are in trouble and you've got to make a change, follow Saturn's highest intentions.
And Saturn's transforming too, right? So it's like it's gut and instinct and intuition,
And
being connected to our spirit guides,
if we
right?
just look at the aging body, or just the growing body, doesn't have to be aging. There is a constant shift going on in its foundation, and Saturn in Pisces is recognizing that. And as Saturn egresses into Aries, he's going to say, okay, so now what's going to work for you? And you have to follow this regimen. And if it's an every other day, then you do it every other day. Because if you do it every day too soon, you're only going to re-injure yourself, and that's going to be a setback. So like with Liz, she still has to take everything one step at a time, and with a walker or a wheelchair, or sit down, take 2 steps and sit down, take 2 steps and sit down. So, I mean,
and that's a lot to do with Pisces. Saturn in Pisces is
a baby learns to walk the same way, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He falls on his bum. He gets back up and does it again. He table walks, right? He hangs on to something as he's that's right at his little hands level, and when they're 11 to 15 months old, and they're just, you know, need assistance, and then they start running and they going.
You keep freezing up.
I love it. Hang on, Sloopy.
You are freezing up.
My ears are so plugged.
All right, so the last one was enlightenment, and it was moving forward. So here we go, fighting your demons or conquering your demons, and then moving forward, which I thought was pretty cool for enlightenment. And then Lori Hunsinger, you're gonna love this because I always get this dragon card. Always peel that dragon card, uncovering treasure, and it's beneath the surface. Beneath the surface has great bounty, and that's us. It's inside of us, our hearts. That's what Leo's trying to say to us. It is you. You have all the power, and you are the treasure. And then stepping into our power was the second card. On that one, I got.
Uh-huh.
There you go. Following that light. That's the light in your heart.
Yep.
And it says you are strong beyond measure. See, this is what we're realizing. We didn't know that. We didn't know that really until the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Did we? I mean, I didn't know how all this was gonna unfold, and it just keeps getting better and better. I mean, it's terrifying on the one hand, right? Because we don't know, but we're progressing, and we've been doing that for 5 years, in despite the worst outer circumstances we ever had to live through.
Well, and Gina is quoting Eddie Murphy here from The Haunted Mansion. You try, you fail. You try, you fail. But the only time you really fail is when you stop trying. And Henry Ford Sr., God love him before he got, rich, lived by the words, failure is only an opportunity to start again.
And there's no, you have to experience everything from failure to success. Everything in between. There's nobody here that just succeeded, and didn't have failures. I don't think, anyway. And we don't even know that this existed. We didn't even know that this new earth was part of the program, until, I mean, I knew we were ascending, but I didn't know in what, I didn't know we were the ones creating it, and we were going to recreate and in these new energies. And it's just pretty, I mean, to me, it's mind blowing.
Every 19 years we get a reset with the draconian chart. Every year you get a reset with your solar return on your birthday. And, there are so many ways to reset the clock for yourself.
Mm-hmm. But this is big.
That don't involve surgery.
Yeah, I mean, this is big. We didn't even know that this was here. That's what I'm saying. Like, we always knew we had birthdays and stuff, but we didn't know, like, these cycles were closing down. And it's just, I mean, the more we investigate and research, the more you uncover. It's just so cool. All right, guys. Well, it's been an hour.
Pisces here.
It's been an hour and a half. Anybody have any more questions? Do you have anything else you want to say until the new moon on Pisces?
No.
Diana? No. Diana's tired. She's tired. We love you all. I'm trying to see. Oh, it was one thing. Hold on. It was what? And it's pretty much what we always say, It was.
Well, that's just it. You're seeing the pattern. Everything repeats itself.
Exactly.
It's a pattern to everything. There is a frequency and a vibration, and the vibration is a number and the frequency is a color, and they come together. And I could play the cello if it were red, blue, green, yellow, green, But in my past life, I was a master at playing the cello. Not this one though.
Well, this is all right. The heart, the safety, security, be in the flow, and shine. That's what I wrote down. Navigate your inner light. Yeah, and the colors. I mean, that everything is frequency, right? Everything is frequency, like you're saying.
Yeah.
We're the ones who dial in the dials for our frequency, and as we're acclimating more to these energies, we get to dial them in better.
And that's what a quincunx is all about. And when it is the finger of God, he's showing you where the center is. Yod, some people say yod, but a yod is the finger of God. And that
Just
is
like
where two quincunxes come together.
that. Oh.
Yeah, it's a trine at the bottom and it's 150 degrees across, but they come together in a point.
Oh my goodness.
Planet. I mean, if there's 2 or 3 planets conjunct up there, yes, they're all a part of it, but they come together and meet up here at another planet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a 5-house difference between the two of them, and it's that constant adjusting, and that's what we all have to do to get through life anyway.
Yeah, and it's constant. And full moon, this one made me tired too, Gina. She's real tired. I'm real tired. We were just like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna talk. She said, "Boy, what we always do."
I'm hyped because my full moon is Sagittarius, so it's another fire sign.
Fire. Yeah, see, these fire moons, they get to moving. They get things moving, right? And it's just like, here we go. Thank you about loving the cards. Yes, Heavenly Blessed Honey is reminding everybody, don't forget the cinnamon. Do a little, even if you just sit there for a second and just say, thank you, whatever. Call something in. Because that you want to work with these energies. Because again, like Diana was saying, it's all frequency. We're the ones dialing it in. You can't work with something if you don't ask. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of us forget. We have to ask if you want whatever. You want more skills and abilities, you want to move, you want a new job. Um, anywho, anything else before we go, young lady?
No, just everyone be blessed. All of our birthday ladies and gentlemen, be blessed. Everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. Buy yourself chocolate. I bought myself roses. Chocolate it was supposed to be delivered yesterday, but it's coming tomorrow or whenever. It doesn't matter. It's chocolate. And it's vegan. That's what's so hard because I can't just go to a store where I live and find vegan chocolate. But this is special made sticky, just as good as if it came from C's.
No, you're gonna have to give me the link.
My buddy Sally, my sister Sally.
I love chocolate.
Like C's.
Chocolate, yeah. My mom sends me C's. She's so sweet.
Allie likes C's too.
Yeah.
I grew up in Detroit. We all went for Saunders.
I'm happy with anything. Actually, when I tried that, I forget, I bought some regular candy bar about a month or so ago. It was disgusting. It didn't even taste like chocolate. It was gross. And they're charging like $2 for a candy bar, Diana. I remember when they were like 10 cents, 20 cents.
And they were this big. And my dad would complain, I paid a nickel for that. And they were thicker.
Do you remember the penny candy? Oh man, that was my thing.
Whole nickel went there.
Yeah.
Pixie sticks, wax lips, wax teeth, wax little bottles with syrup.
Yeah. The cigarettes. That's what got me smoking.
Nutty Squirrels, Mary Jane's, ice cubes. Remember ice cubes? They're still made. They're still available. They're made in Sweden, I believe.
I know
Scandinavia, somewhere over there.
Yeah.
And they melt in your mouth and they taste cold, not minty. Not like York peppermint patties. I always think of that lady who would jump up on her ironing board and go, riding down the slopes. A York peppermint patty.
Gina, that's beautiful. Thank you. Hi, Garnet.
Well, and yes, Gina, we're all tired. It's winter. It doesn't matter where you live. It's winter and it's solar maximum. And that is just knocking our sails out. And all of this new volcano forming underneath Santorini, you know, if that thing blows.
That's huge. That's
and
huge.
When you see the Schumann resonance, there it is making lines underneath, which means this is under the surface, and these are indications of volcanic activity.
And we're in epic times. We are really in epic times. There's so much going on. Call it in.
Yeah. There's so many names tonight. Sorry.
I know. Everybody's so cool. And anchor yourself. You know, keep grounding yourself, anchoring yourself. Keep staying in your heart. We love you, and we will see you on the 27th for the new moon in Pisces.
Yep. Blow the cinnamon. Shake a rattle, beat a drum.
Shake a rattle, get you
Feed your honey bunnies out in the snow.
Oh, that's
bunny is trained. She waits till I turn the lights off. Then she knows the dogs aren't coming out.
I mean, that's cool because when Diana and I were about to start, she goes, "Oh, the bunny's out there eating," and I'm like, I mean, to me, that's just everything's a sign, you know, just means something. Bunnies are very fertile, right?
She came early. Usually she comes later, but she must understand that the snow's going to get her tonight. She better fill her belly now.
Aww. All right, you guys, we love you. We will see you next time.
Whatever that stone is, that's glittery. I like it.
It's pyrite.
Ah,
yeah.
Wow, that's a good size one.
Yeah,
that's like a fistful of dollars.
Yeah, see, here's a
yeah. That's more like my size.
Yeah, and then this one.
I like that big one. I'm going to have to make one of those.
It's heavy and it grounds you, you know, just like.
Matches your sweater. Oh my God, let's go. I'm sorry, people. You're trying to get out of here and we just keep on hanging on.
Love you, love you, love you, love you. Bye, guys. Be safe.
Happy Valentine's.
And happy full moon.